wonder if we need to clean up the organizational chart a bit. It bothers me that we've got missile defense, and then you're the operational piece. General, you're in the middle of it for Homeland Defense. Do we have the proper organization to allow sufficient timely response and deterrence, frankly? Who wants to take the question?
I'm happy to start, Senator.
Please, John.
I do think we do have a good organizational structure here, and I think what you're seeing is that missile defense kind of runs throughout our forces, right? The Navy needs missile defense, the Army needs missile defense, the Homeland needs missile defense, and so, and of course, the Pentagon has multiple layers, but I actually think this is structured quite well. I think we have good working relationships, and I think we're making significant progress.
You don't think we need a kind of combatant command that would centralize these functions?
Well, since you asked, so the UCP change, of course, we have NORTHCOM will do defense of the homeland, and so General Van Herk can speak to that much better than I can. And the UCP change that has just been signed will transfer JIFIC IMD to Space Command, which makes sense because we'd already transferred all the sensors to Space Command, and so that aligns. Missile defense sensors and space domain awareness sensors are often the same sensor, and it's good to have a kind of a global sensor management piece there too. So I think, but every combatant commander with a geographic responsibility still has missile defense responsibilities.
Well, all right. Let me go back to what would have been my first question, and I guess I'll ask it of Admiral Hill. THAAD, Aegis, GBI, Patriot, are all or any of those systems effective against a hypersonic missile?
Thanks for the question. I would say that we have capability within Patriot. It was not a requirement that flowed to the system, but it's got the natural ability to do it because it's a cruise missile killer. And if you have a fast maneuvering cruise missile, it can bite off part of that threat. When you look at the SM-6 within Aegis, Aegis has been dealing with maneuvering low on the deck threats for years, I would say decades, and taking that missile with its ability and going after hypersonics makes good sense, which is why we used it for sea-based terminal. THAAD operates right on the edge of the atmosphere. It's an energetic missile. It's got a great hit-to-kill record behind it. We haven't tested against hypersonic threats, but I believe there's, like Patriot and like Aegis, there's likely some capability that can be leveraged there.
Why not more emphasis on directed energy? A missile, a bullet on a bullet is an expensive proposition. How much, well, let me ask that question. How much is a single THAAD bullet?
I'll give you a range between Patriot up to SM-3, and they range everywhere from 4 million up to 10 million or so.
Per shot?
Per shot, yes, sir.
Okay.
And then I'll also, just to kind of follow up on directed energy, to be effective, you have to be on a target for some period of time with high energy. Right? Today, that high energy is scaling its way there. It's also got to be on a platform where it can be transported. That scaling effort to draw down the amount of power usage and the space and weight, that work is being done today. But when you think
being done with a sense of urgency, I've been asking these questions for about 5 years, and I don't get a sense of urgency in the department on directed energy, which to me is clearly preferable to a $4 million bullet.
Yes, sir, and I agree. And I think the department has done great work by consolidating those efforts to specifically talk to scaling in terms of power out of the laser, what it takes to put that laser on the target. But let's talk about the target for a second, right? We're using them now generally for unmanned air vehicles, right? Smaller, loitering kind of vehicles. When you talk about very fast-moving targets that were designed to operate in very high heat environments, and you're going to try to take them out with high heat, that's a really tough equation to close. So more investment is required, more focus on getting to those areas, but it is science and engineering right now. That just happens to be where we are today, sir.
Thank you. Senator Fisher.